Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Shucksmith. Welcome to this seminar for SDLT for commercial property advisors. I'll start by giving a brief introduction, setting out what we're going to cover today. Firstly, we'll talk about chargeable consideration and what kind of things constitute chargeable consideration for SDLT purposes. The scope is quite broad, so we'll spend some detail going into that. Secondly is apportionments and how to deal with a transaction where you might be acquiring other things as well as land. Thirdly, we'll talk about how to calculate SDLT when you are actually given a lease, the premium, and also we will come on to talk about the rent. The term of a lease is very important, so we will also come on to talk about break clauses, which are commonly seen in leases, and how the SDLT calculation is affected by the presence of those. We will also come on to talk about rent reviews because they are key in the context of calculating SDLT due on the grant of a lease. And finally, we'll finish off with some common exemptions and reliefs seen, and also the current mixed-use consultation which the government is undertaking and other recent developments in case law. So now we come on to apportionments, which is typically seen in business acquisitions where, for example, if you're buying a business alongside the land, you may also be buying stock in trade, goodwill, all sorts of other things that fall outside the scope of SDLT. You're not expected to pay SDLT on the entire of the consideration you're given for the business. It needs to be apportioned on a just and reasonable basis between the land, consideration attributable to the land will be chargeable to SDLT, and other aspects which are being sold, but which are not real estate. It's not sufficient to just agree between the vendor and the purchaser. It needs to be justified by reference to a reasonable market value of the asset. You don't need to necessarily notify HMRC at the time, but you need to be able to say, in circumstances where an assessment is raised, this is how we got to this value by reference to objective criteria demonstrating that this was a just and reasonable apportionment of the overall purchase price.